Hi guys, welcome to my video. This video is to show you a little bit about my DIY ROV. Some people have been asking some details about it, and I felt the best way to give the information was to make this short video. I'm going to go into the systems a little bit, not in detail, but just an overview really, to hopefully give some people some information and some ideas about how to make their own DIY ROV. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the thrusters. The thrusters are brushed DC motors, 3-volt motors. I'm running them at about 6 volts though, which is fine. They're running in water, they don't burn out. As you can see, they've got the little mounting holes there that are open, lets the water in and keeps them cool. I had 12 hours out of these motors before I started having any issues. They're 50 pence, so they don't cost a lot of money. It's about $1 in America. They're wired in parallel as well, so one pair of wires feeds 2 motors. They're drawing about 1/3 of an amp, so there's absolutely no issue with doing that. The tether, as you'll see in a second, the tether is running through 3/8 hollow rope, and what I've got is 2 full bundles of Cat 5, 8 pairs running down there. I need that because I've got a camera on there. A camera is a cheap reversing camera from eBay, and it's housed in a PVC solvent weld pipe fitting. You can see the coupling on the right hand side and a hose barb on the other. Those are solvent welded together. I've got Dean's connectors in the back there, potted with epoxy, and that's had no issues down to 15 meters, which is the deepest this ROV's been. I'll show you the camera itself. It's actually a tiny little reversing camera from eBay. I think it cost me about £7. Not a lot of money at all. The foam is in there just to hold it in position and stop any vibrations. You can see the camera there, it's absolutely minuscule. That camera runs on 3.5 volts. There was like a 12 to 3.5 volt step down adapter, but I deleted that, so I'm just driving it with 3.5 volts straight from the top side. On the front I've got a 6mm piece of plexiglass that I managed to acquire. 6mm is overkill for 15 meters, but it's doing the job fine. And this is how it goes back together. The grabber, people have been asking about the grabber. How do you run a servo underwater? Well, what I did was I took out the control board, and I'm driving it with a speed controller from the top side, so you can see there, positive and negative, straight onto the motor. This has been in the sea, so it's a little bit crusty, but it still works fine. So I use a speed controller to actually use the grabber now. Lighting, yeah, this is a bit Buckshy, a bit Heath Robinson, but I've got 3 LEDs on there wired in series. Hopefully I'm going to be moving on to this, which is a 3D printed like cowling with LEDs mounted on it. It's got through holes, so all the connections are round in the back. These have all been potted in. I'm hoping there shouldn't be any issues with overheating, but I think it should be okay. I think it should be fine. So the ROV is connected to the topside control box, if you will, with this controller here. Each one of these pins is rated for 1 amp. I'm drawing less than 1 amp on every single pin. It's not an issue. So that connector at the end of the tether goes into the topside control box, which you'll see inside just now. Normally when you open it up, all you see is batteries, so that's where I keep my batteries in there, nice and safe. I've got a little low battery indicator there if I need it. This is the part I'm not really proud about. I did this in a rush because I was really happy about getting ROV finished. I should have spent more time on this. There's the constant current driver for the LEDs, that keeps them nice and cool but still bright. And there's the switch for the LEDs, so I can switch them on and off on demand. Again, not pretty. So next we move on to the analog signal coming up. That goes into the 3.5mm jack goes into my screen. I don't have any balance. I don't need them because I've only got 16ish meters of tether, so it's not an issue. As for the speed controllers, these are the ones you'll see on eBay. They're 120 amp at 7.4 volts. I'm running them at 12 volts, and I've not had any issues. They get a little bit warm, but no, they work perfectly. I did read online that people were using these with higher than 12 volts, 18 volts with no issues. There's the little speed controller that I'm using for the grabber. That just controls the forward and back movement of the servo motor. And here's the screen as I see it. The camera's a little squint because I've had the camera out of the housing. Let's go over the functions now. So on the left stick, which doesn't return to center, I've got surface and dive. So that allows me to just set a little bit of dive on and keep it trimmed. I've also used that knob just up there. That can set the trim so that so I'm still diving, or I'm holding my position in the water with the sticks in the center. As you can see, when I shot this video, it was just a little bit of down stick, and I was concentrating on where I was actually positioned. The other function this ROV's got is what people would call strafe, or it's also known as lateral movement, which allows the ROV to move left or right in a strafe if you're playing Call of Duty, or lateral movement, and it allows you to have, you know, a lot of precision when you're flying. And obviously, because I've programmed this this flight controller here with mixes, it's infinitely variable. So, you know, if there's a bit of drag on the tether, I just gently increase. You know, if I'm trying to move forward or trying to hold my position, gently increase. So it's not bang bang, it's not on off, jerky jerky, it's nice and smooth. The grabber, as you can see, I've got on this 3-position switch here, which I've programmed to be forward, neutral and reverse, and that allows me to pick things up under the water. One of my other videos, you'll see that I was actually collecting shoes in Dundee in Scotland. Must be a lot of one-legged people running about Dundee. This was a fishing reel that somebody had dropped down there, so we recovered that. It's a bit worse for wear, but it still worked. Another shoe. The grabber's got a fair bit of grip on it. If you put your finger in there, you can actually pick the whole ROV up. The GoPro that I've got is mounted on this fake GoPro Mount, which is glued on. The frame is just airline fittings, all put together. You can use anything. You can use anything you've got lying about, bits of tubing, bits of plastic. It doesn't have to be that strong, not for a micro ROV. And I just epoxy them onto the buoyancy there. So that's really it. There's not a lot more I can say. Any further questions, please put them in the comments down below. I will answer every single one. There might have to be a follow-up video going into something a little bit more in detail, but for now, thanks for watching.